This is the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. What I'm sharing with you guys today is the simple principle: you don't know what you don't know. There's a fantastic book named The Slight Edge, written by Jeff Olson. I've read that book 14, 15 times, have no idea. The first copy that I had basically wore out because I underlined pretty much every single word. I don't know what that was all about, but it's an amazing book. And to be honest with you, I recommend everyone to buy it or listen to it on audio if you have that available for you. What's in that book explains to you that all the information that you will ever need to become successful is out there. In fact, there is so much information everywhere that it becomes confusing to know what to apply and when. Not only that, but very often the biggest problem that is out there is the quote from Mark Twain's book, Tom Sawyer, I believe, where he says that the problem is not so much that people don't know things, the problem is that they know so many things that ain't so. Meaning, there are so many things that I believe in that just simply is not accurate. And I'm vulnerable enough to say that, okay? Which means that perhaps you should also be vulnerable enough to accept the fact that there are some things that you believe in or that you know that simply are not so. That simply are incorrect, that are false, that are myths, and that are producing problems in your life. So how do you know that you're believing things that are not so? How do you know that basically you've got the wrong information, or that you're completely misprioritized in the information that you already have that might be correct? How do you know? If your life sucks. That's how you know. Look at your life and perhaps grade your life. Okay, look at the 3 categories of life, which is relationships, health, and finance, and then put a grade to it, okay? A scale of 1 to 10, or whatever you want to use, and then go through it and ask yourself, is my life fantastic, or does it suck? Suck is 1, and fantastic is 10. And once you basically see your grades or your scale in each of those 3 categories of life, you now know if the information that you have, the things that you believe, the things that you know for a fact, if you're closer to 1, 2, and 3, and 4, or 5, then perhaps you've got the wrong information. And if you've got the wrong information, things have to change. The beautiful aspect of change is that it all happens up here first. Once you change your mindset, once you change your beliefs, once you change your value systems, once you basically change for the better to principles that actually work, okay? Not just, yeah, that sounds about right. No, things that have been approved and lived and done by hundreds and also thousands of people throughout history and throughout the past few years. This actually works. Once you understand that, and then you choose to apply it and then never give up, things are going to change for you. Okay? Very often the biggest problem that people have is the fact of being consistent. The reason why they have a struggle to be consistent is because of all the information out there. Okay, they don't know what to latch onto and hold on to consistently for several years. It's not going to take a few weeks, it's not going to take a few days, it's going to take months and years before you see worthwhile results. What are some examples? There's several religions out there that people believe in, hardcore. But many principles that are in those religions simply don't work. Okay, so if a principle doesn't work in the long run and in the big scheme of things, then it cannot be true. Now, there might be tons of truth in any specific religion, okay? But if there are some key components to that religion that does not work, okay? Remember, my definition for truth is that which works in the long run and in the big scheme of things. Why would God, in a religion that He has set up, create something that doesn't work? Why? Why would He do that? He wouldn't. And that's why you can understand from that aspect that maybe there are some things that I know that are not so, okay? Personally, in my religion that I've had in the past, of which 80% of it I still live, all the principles from it, and I still love the people that are there. However, that religion prevented me from understanding what works when it comes to money. That religion prevented me from doing that which works in a family structure. That religion prevented me from applying correct principles in my life that would have produced joy and happiness had I just understood that there are many things that I know that are not so. But the fact of the matter, we have to also realize that it's a work in progress, okay? You're not gonna know everything, right now. It's not physically possible. The best way to handle that situation is to find someone who has the life that you desire, to find someone who has lots of joy and happiness no matter what is happening in his or her life, and then apply the things that they do and that they talk about, and make sure that it's integral with what they, that their actions and their words are massively compatible, because then you know that the principles that they apply is correct and that you can actually follow it. In some ways, it doesn't even matter if it's a religion or not, because for me, truth is the only true religion. And truth is that which works in the long run and in the big scheme of things. So as long as you're living the truth, this is in my opinion, as long as you're living the truth, you're living according to God's principles and in accordance to what He desires for you to do in your life. If you have massive joy and happiness, deep, long-lasting joy and happiness in your life, which comes from applying the truth, I can promise you that God is happy with you, and you have a good relationship to Him. You will feel that. You will feel abundance. You will feel overjoyous, okay? Whenever you feel joy, that comes from God. That comes from applying His principles into your life. And if you do that, suddenly if you're friends with the universe, you have a great relationship with God because you are applying the principles of truth, you are having abundance in every single aspect of your life, or you are heading towards it. And the fact that you're heading towards it, or you already have it, will produce the ripple effects in the people's lives that you encounter, okay, or that you invest a lot of time with. This is how it works. It takes time, and you have to understand that you're going to be failing forward in terms of finding out that which works and that which does not work. You're going to have to fail forward when it comes to figuring out which beliefs that you're holding on to that is holding you back. Because it starts up here. The only way to get abundance in your future and in your life, it's through consistent action. But consistent action only comes from your behavior, right? From changing your behavior. And that behavior starts in the mind, right? It starts as a thought, as an idea. And then that idea, if you take action and act on that idea, and then you repeat that action, and you repeat it again and again and again and again and again, eventually you know that this works and that it will produce results for you. And then eventually it will, if it's true. If it's a true principle, it will work out. But if you've been doing something for 5 years, for 10 years, for 20 years, for 30 years, and it hasn't produced abundance in every single category of your life, then there's something wrong with the beliefs that you've been given or that you've been fed, breastfed, okay? That you've been fed for all of those years, and it needs to change. You cannot remain the same person and get a different result. Einstein said you cannot solve a problem with the same thinking that caused it. You have to change the thinking in order to change the problem. So going back to your scale of 1 to 10 in every single category of your life, relationships, health, and finance, I can promise you that if you don't have a 10 in every single category of your life, and I don't have a 10 in every single category of my life, then there are just simply some things that are not correct when it comes to your beliefs about those categories of life. And it has to change in order for things to change for you. Unless you're on a path and you believe, you really truly believe that this, and that you've recently changed to it, and you believe that this will actually change every single thing in your life, then stick to it for a long period of time consistently to find out if it's correct or not. This is really the key, consistency. Because if you're not consistent, you won't be able to find out if that principle is true or not. This is where seed retention and masculinity kicks in, and accepting and loving rejection, because then you can find out by consistency if that principle is correct or not. If you begin to apply the things that I share in this video, things will change for you. And in the next video, I'll share a little bit more about what you can do to super speed your transformation in any given category of life. This is the Men of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. I'll see you in the next video.